All right, good to say shalom to everyone. Thank the Most High for the Sabbath. Um, I want to get into this very important topic in regards to, Black History Month. There's another phrase that they use, uh, another smokescreen title, which is African American History Month. They slid that in there maybe a decade ago. All right, so what I would like to do first is explain this Mitri, okay? Because I know some people will look at this and be like, oh, he got his head covered. Well, I have the crown of my head uncovered, which represents Christ. He's under the priesthood now. So still representing Christ, because he did say, you know, um, a man dishonors his head if it's covered. All right, so we understand that. But I'll do a full lesson on that because I just don't want to get any comments in regards to the Mitri or whatever. But I'll do a full lesson on that one day. But based on this right now, in regards to Black History Month, I thought I would cover this so um, we can get the full understanding of what they're really doing. All right. Now, the first thing a lot of us probably don't pay, well, we do pay attention to, but we really don't go in deep understanding on uh, the reason why they picked the most coldest month of the year, of the winter, which is February, right? And then it's the shortest month of the year. So they already disrespecting you right there because they know black people want to go out, cook out. So they did it that way on purpose. All right. So what I'm going to do, we got the, first that's the third thing I would like to say. I want people to, those that may not believe in the Bible, it may be a little hard for you to understand what I'm about to get into. All right. There's a spiritual understanding on what I'm about to get into. All right. And let me just give out some snippets on the information that I'm about to get into, right? Every word or every title, when it comes down to Satan and his army, it represents something. It represents a spirit. Like, let's say a person had an idea to come up with a name. That name came by some type of idea based on whatever spirit you are entertaining. And hopefully that makes sense. Like, for instance, when you look at the names in scripture, you notice that it signifies a certain duty or a title. Like for Jacob's name, he was considered a supplanter because that's what he did to his brother, but it was based on him being obedient to his mother. Okay, so it's every name signifies a certain title for a person. All right, and that never changed. Even if people use certain titles and acronyms unknowingly, ignorantly, people do things. Idea just pop up in their head. They want to come up with a certain title for an organization because that's what I'm about to get into. Now we got the NAACP. Okay, for that's supposed to, we have now the NAACP is an organization for black people to help them, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Okay, so that's a organization. A lot of people don't know that actual organization is ran by or funded by Jewish people. But it doesn't stop there, and that's why I wanted to go into this lesson. It's very critical that we really that you all really pay attention that may not understand this information. All right, and you all can check this information yourself. All right. So you have another organization funded by Jewish people, right? You have Council of Federate Organizations, the COFO. All right, and then what I'm going to really get into in this particular lesson, because I found some very uh, coded terms that they use to throw people off. And see, that's what I'm saying. You really got to pay attention to Satan. He's very slithery. He's so sneaky to the point that you believe that the things that's put out to kind of like help minorities, right, or black people, really is a snare. Because you don't know it's a snare. Let's say if you're wearing a certain clothing of a Gentile nation or any person, they pray to their gods and you put their clothes on and you act a certain way, you're wondering why. So like I said, some people will not be able to agree with this information or understand it if they don't have a spiritual mind. All right. So you got the student. This is another organization to help black people. Student Nonviolence Coordinating Committee, which is SNCC. That's the acronym. But that acronym has a nickname, which is SNCC. SNICK. SNCC. It's called Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. So what I want to do is, in the first part of this, is prove, based on that nickname SNCC, because that's what it represents when you go into the research of it, you won't believe what it actually means. And I'm going to show you exactly how Satan does things so we can look beyond the surface information. It would look like in a smoke mirror, like, yeah, this organization, they really trying to help black people. You got the NAACP, they really trying to help black people. But they really not. They're keeping you under a spell, and it's a snare for our people. All of it. Even though some of our people like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Thurgood Marshall, we have a lot of our people that did, very well under bondage. I'm not knocking that at all. You're talking about lions. They're straight lions. Martin Luther King was a straight lion. Okay? Malcolm X was a straight lion. That's why they had to get him out of there. Even though they probably sold out in certain spots. But all in all, if it wasn't for those two brothers and other brothers, we wouldn't be able to operate the way we do. So I'm not knocking what they're doing, but under their ignorance of the spirituality of what's really going on, the surface is okay. Yeah, we want to help our people. But these organizations are all funded by those who took us down. You think Esau is just going to really help you? And people don't understand the root of the reason why we're in our condition. It's deeper than just some black people in America being deprived and oppressed and being hung on trees. It's that information will just build anger if you're ignorant of the reason why we're in the condition we're in. It goes farther than 200 and some years of slavery. Okay, and we're still in slavery today under the word that they use is human resources, or you are a consumer. But it's not just, we were the beta test for what they will push out through the whole world. That was the whole agenda. They always do beta tests on us. That's why you notice in certain parts of Africa, the Congos and things of that nature, diseases start out there and then it spreads out to other people because we're the ones that they test so they can combat that disease. It's a chemical, biological warfare on the children of Israel. All right. Katrina over there in that area, New Orleans, that was a beta test to get people acclimated on plastic and things of that nature. They were confiscating people guns. You couldn't have a gun. What you think they're doing now on a mass level, going for the Second Amendment? I hope that's ringing a bell, right? So, based on this information, right, you have Student Nonviolence Coordinating Committee. Now, this is a committee to actually, let me just read some information on it. The acronym is SNCC, often pronounced SNCC, right? SNICK. was one of the most important organizations of the American civil rights movement. And you notice it says one of the most important organizations of the American civil rights movement in the 1960s. It emerged from a student meeting organized by Ella Baker, held at Shaw University in April 1960. Then it says SNCC grew into a large organization with many supporters in the North who helped raise funds to support SNCC work in the South, allowing full-time SNCC workers to have $10 per week. Excuse me here, computer doing some crazy stuff. One moment. Yeah, I bet it is doing some crazy stuff here. All right, hopefully it didn't mess the computer up here. Now, you would notice where it says, supporters, but it's not telling you what supporters and where that money is going. Like when you go to Red Cross, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's going, this is Red Cross money. But you don't understand that they take the money and use it for something that is really not for, because Haiti still look like a garbage can over there. So what did it do? So we got to look beyond what's in our face. All right. It's almost, and I did this analogy before, when you got something that's so close to you, you look at yourself every day and don't know that you are really more than what they say you are. You more than some Negro. Okay. You look in the mirror, you don't know that it's so close. The information is so close to you. So if something's so close, you can't read it. I mean, I'll have to focus, pay attention, and allow my eyes to strengthen, and then I'll be able to see the true picture, because that's what they've done. They put things right in your face so you can't really pay attention to it. And then, this information may sound crazy or bizarre to somebody that don't know that they're really, so the so-called Negroes in America are the real, true bloodline, deoxyribonucleic acid or ribonucleic acid of Christ himself, the true Jew, period. And I'm about to show you. Now, of course, you have this organization. I want to hone in on this particular organization because I found out some real coded information in the definition, or this often pronounced acronym for SNCC, which is SNCC, right? Now, when you look up the word in the dictionary, regular dictionary, it's the verb used with objects. Then it says to cut, snip, or nick. To cut, and you see how I like to use the term spirituality of a word, because it's just deeper than paper. It's deeper than black ink and white paper. That's the abstract understanding of something. You just see it as abstract. Black and white. That's the abstract. Why does black and white fight? See, that's the abstract. See, we just looking at, wow, okay, they just don't like us. But no, it's deeper. Okay? To cut, snip, or snick. To strike sharply. That's what snick means. Often pronounced as snick. So you think they just don't go and do that? Because how in the world can you get SNCC? How does that link to SNICK? No, that don't even make sense for them to just come up with that name. You see how they do stuff? They put it in your face. Now, who's going to look up the word snick and find out that they're really mocking you? To cut, snip, or nick. To strike sharply. He snicked the ball with his cue. These are how you look up definitions. To snap or click. A gun. Trigger. What do we do most of the time? Kill each other in the streets. Snick. It's right here. To click. Bow. Okay. But they try to name it Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. Yeah, SNCC, right? A small cut. A glancing blow given to the ball, right? The ball so hit. So these are different results. Now, what I did was I went into the word, because the biggest word that popped up in my mind was cut in this word SNCC. So I went to Hebrew number 1214, and it's Bosash, okay? B-A-T-S-A. Pronunciation, Ba-Sa. The T is silent. Then it says a primitive root to break off. to break off, right? This all links to snake. Then you got the word cut. Plunder, figuratively, to finish or stop. To finish or stop. Is certain things ringing? They tried to finish us off and stop us. That's what your Planned Parenthood is about. All these abortions and all that mess. To stop us from reprocreating. To mess with our algorithm so we don't really want to deal with a family type of organization. We don't deal with that. We just rather, that's why the lines that, when you go to these courts, it be mainly us for child support and stuff. It's a mental thing. It's a mind. They're actually doing certain things. I'm not trying to go off, but they do certain things to the air. They do certain things to the foods. It's all chemically induced inside of us. Like you do certain things and you wonder why later. Your body doesn't reprocreate or reproduce the way it should. Most of the sisters now getting some type of polyps or something with their female members. It's always some area, something blocking something to cause them not to be able to reproduce. All right, it's really something that they're doing on purpose. It's war. And we're not really fighting back because we don't understand that it's a spiritual war, right? So when you look at bosa, a primitive root to break off, usually plunder, figuratively to finish, because that's what Esau is trying to do. He's trying to finish what he started, but he's not going to succeed. We will have redemption, all right? We will be redeemed. Then it says stop. Then it says covet, cut off, finish, fulfill. See, that's what he's trying to do. Gained, greedily, like to have greed. And this is all in the word cut. Links to snake. Get, be given, covetousness. Why is the, not all Europeans, but why is the Europeans mainly jealous of certain people? I don't know if y'all ever seen, I forgot the movie, but there was a movie with Busta Rhymes in it. And he said, they hate me because they ain't me. You don't make a tanning. If you hate black people so much, why do you tan yourself? If you don't like the shape of a sister, why do you get butt implants? Okay? Greed. They want everything, even your color, because they know that a lot of things happen to their bloodline. All right, but I'm like I said, this is not a stab at Europeans, but those Europeans that watch my channel know that I'm not talking to them. They know that they themselves will tell you that they got an evil seed, just like we had an evil seed making all these different calves and all this stuff. We all jacked up because of our foreparents as well. All right, but based on this particular lesson, we see that we are being oppressed deeper than just a Black History Month. It goes deep because it's not even just black people that's in slavery till this day. And I'm going to read some documents on it. All right. And then it links to the word cut. It links to the word Hebrew number, which is funny, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1234. Bakah, a primitive root to cleave, generally to rend, break, rip, or open. Make a breach. Make a breach. Make something that's sealed together. That's what Satan did. He had Adam and Eve, they were cool until Satan put a breach there so he can get in and bring his government. That's why Christ said, and that's why in Isaiah prophesying about Christ in Isaiah 9 and 6, the government shall be upon his shoulder and his government shall increase because of the increase of his government. So there he's going to fill the breaches. Okay? Breach. Then it says break forth, into, out, in pieces, through, up. Be ready to burst, cleave, asunder, cut out, divide, hatch. What people are have been cut out, divided. Hatched represents in other lands. We spring up in other lands because we didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. All right. And then there's another deep word here for Hebrew number 1826, which links to cut, is doman. It's almost like demand, but it's doman. A prime root, to be dumb. To be dumb. To cut, if you cut a nation, they're ignorant of their heritage. They don't know. If you ask 10 black people what's their nationality, you're gonna get 10 different answers. You probably get more than that. Just saying it's gonna be there's gonna be two people giving you a different answer. And then the other 8 people are gonna be giving you this, agreeing, oh yeah, we the first man, or we Asiatic, or we're African American. How can you be 2 continents? I always ask that. If you're African and American, how can that make sense? There's no other nation in the world. If you talk to a Japanese person, they're not going to say that they're Asian, they're Chinese Japan. You see what I'm saying? That don't even make common sense. But when it comes to the children of Israel, they give us all these different names to throw you off, so you won't see that you're really Israel, that you're really from the area that's being that's really desolate. Like if you look at the land of Israel today in Palestine, which links to Philistines, which links to those people that's over there, mixed DNA, they have mixed hybrid blood in them from the Philistines bloodline, the Canaanites and the Horites and things of that nature. So Esau slept with Horites and Canaanites. I didn't say the mouthful right there, but let me finish this lesson, because this is very critical for us to understand the reason why we're in the conditions that we're in, why we don't get all the riches, or you would say the services that other nations get. It's not okay. This is another thing too. Oh, the black man is lazy. Well, there's an issue with that. First of all, this black man, like I said, he's a king. He comes from kingship. The kings will fight, do their thing, and they go chill. What do Judah like to do most in the streets? The so-called Negro. Fight and kill. But they know that, so what they do is they put us all close up in these freaking cities and ghetto areas, so we kill each other off, not knowing our purpose. So yes, he don't want to work. He know that the system is jacked up. Judah thinks on a different level, which can result in a lazy behavior, because he see that the system it ain't for him. So he's like, you know what? I'd rather just sell some drugs, because that's, like I said, you're talking to kings. You're talking about a lion that don't understand his true purpose. Not to condone to what our people do, especially the tribe of Judah, but we got to understand the root on the reason why our brothers are in the streets selling. They don't know that they're really kings, that they didn't have to work every day. Things were given to them. They got everything they needed. So that's a bloodline. Judah didn't have to go out and till the land. He would have servants doing that for him. Our queens were the same way. And even today, we take advantage of each other, not knowing that we didn't have to do a lot of the things that we're doing today. A lot of our people don't even want to go walk up the street. We try to find the closest spot to get to, then we fighting over a freaking parking spot, not knowing that people would just drive us everywhere. If they had cars back then, you had horses or whatever, that mules, camels that would just take us everywhere. People would serve us. So you talking about the tribe that has to do. That's why they say, oh yeah, he's lazy. Nah, they don't understand the spiritual connection of their bloodline, and that's the reason why they fall for certain snares and traps of the governing systems today. So that's the reason why. But that's a mouthful too. But let's go to Proverbs chapter 31, verse 8. And it says, open thy mouth for the dumb. So what I have to do, in other brothers and sisters, and this is not to demean our people. I just want to make that clear. Dumb in scripture don't mean a person that is, we use dumb in the wrong manner today. Okay. Dumb means just ignorant of certain things. All right. Open thy mouth for the ignorant or the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. So a lot of our people are appointed to destruction if those of us that are aware of this information don't open our mouth. That's what Proverbs 31 verse 8 is saying. So when you see in Hebrew number 18:26, when it says Daman, it says silent, and it says dumb, to be dumb. To be dumb is not to say that this person is just a fool. Is to be dumb down, to be lulled to sleep with ideologies, false feasts, holidays, and all that. February 14th and all that mess, not knowing that that links to straight incest. And I did a lesson on that. I posted that on Google. It links to straight incest. And that's when people partake in that, they're going to be wondering why they feel a certain way. People act different. But that's another, I did that lesson. That's another thing there. All right. So let's go to Isaiah chapter 58, verse 1. Isaiah 58 and 1. It says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet. So this is what we're supposed to do. Our people be out in the streets preaching. A lot of them are a little off in the doctrine, but this is what we're starting to understand. So it says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins. So people are starting to try to fight against the speakers or the teachers, not knowing that they're fighting against the Most High's prophecy. So you people that want to come against those of us that's raising up our tribes so we can understand who we are, you better wake up to these scriptures, because you're fighting against the Most High's will. So when it says cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, in the house of Jacob their sins. Very clear. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 6 verse 17. And I'm going to get into some of these documents I got in regards to slavery. All right. Because I'm going to hit that Holocaust thing too, because they be like, oh, what, it's always a Jewish kind of sort of Holocaust movie, or you'll see, people talking about the Holocaust of the Jew, not knowing that those people ain't the real Jews. How can you settle in every person, when you go into I know I'm going on, but I got to say this. When you go into the history of the Holocaust, the first thing you're going to see is something about somebody settling somewhere. They settled in Palestine, Israel in 1947. They settled there. Now, what happened to the last people that settled in America? Were they originally here first? No. So you got to look out for certain buzzwords to let you know that they was never in that land anyway. They settled there. And that 1947 thing is just something that people, they spent millions of dollars on that, right? I know I'm going to get some pushback on some Jewish people, and this page may be shut down, and this video may not play after, but who cares? All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 58 verse 1 again. All right, I'm going to read that again. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, in the house of Jacob their sins. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 6 verse 17. Also I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. So we're supposed to listen to somebody teaching you, trying to tell you something. At least look at the information first before you reject it, because you're considered a fool if you do. A fool rejects knowledge. All right. And it says, also I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken. So this is how I know who the children of Israel are today, because most of the time I get more pushback from my own people opposed to some European or some other nation, because like I said, they already know this information. And that's why you know that this book is out. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 1. All right. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 1. Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 5. And it says, a wise man will hear and will increase in learning. You know what it said, a wise man? And this is how they mock us, right? The so-called Jewish people. You know, one of the guys' name is Wiseman. They come up with their own stores, Wegmans, and then they got a Wiseman. They got those different stores. They're actually showing you who you are, but they got us going in their stuff. This should be the reverse. We serving them, right? Making them rich. Because we fail as people, right? Then it says, a wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the word of the wise and their dark sayings. That's why it says, and their dark sayings. The reason why the scripture is saying dark sayings, the Most High is speaking to us through riddles, and it may be tough to understand. That's why when you read in Paul's writings, it even says that Paul's writings is hard to be understood. That's a curse, because we fell from righteousness. All right, let's go to Proverbs let's go to Ezekiel, Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 5. Ezekiel 33 and 5, and it says, he heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. So there's going to be some people that's going to hear certain things. It's going to wake them up. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him, but he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. You see how easy the scripture is? It's telling you, if you listen, there's some information that you may need to hear. All right. All right, so there's another word in regards to, in the Greek, in regards to snick, right? You got the word, because we read the definition, you got the word cut there, but you can link this word. There's another word that I wanted to go into is remove. And the Greek, Hellenist Greeks, which were our people, Greek speaking Jews, was our people in that area, Grecia, and things of that nature. They translated the Hebrew tongue into Greek. And it says, cut in the Greek is 851, and it's offere. Then it says to remove, literally or figuratively, smite, cut off, take away, right? So let me just get some scriptures on that. All right, so Greek number for cut is 851. So all you got to do is go into the concordance, look up Greek number 851, and you'll see that. Deuteronomy 28, verse 25. Let's see what the scriptures say in regards to this SNCC thing. That's one of the organizations to help black people. One of the main, most important organizations, right? Yeah, I bet. Deuteronomy 28, verse 25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Well, people were smitten, hit, cut, put a yoke of iron on your neck, hung you, burnt you in these Americas. Before thine enemies, thou shalt go out one way against them. So we trying to run away from them, right? Now, what happened in slavery? Now, I want somebody to show me real documents where the enemies of the Jewish people had time to go into the land by ships. that's another thing I would like. No one is really showing me that information, so that's how you know it's not pertaining to Scripture. Okay. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shalt be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. So when you see and flee 7 ways before them, it is talking about the 7 continents. You want to see black people and all the other tribes, but you're going to see them. You're going to see Hebrew people in all 7 continents, spread it throughout the 4 corners of the earth. That's why it says, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Shall be removed into all the kingdoms. American kingdom, okay? Over there, Cuba and all these different places, Australia, will be spread amongst all the nations. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28. Deuteronomy 28 and 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. I wanted to read that particular scripture because this links to snick, to cut, to smite, right? And then when it says madness, it's not always talking about, it's actually talking about going crazy, not understanding, you acting like a wild animal. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness. Blindness represents not somebody that's blind physically, but spiritually blinded with not understanding, ignorance, to be dumb, to be dumbed down, as we read before. That's why I wanted to read this. And blindness and astonishment of heart. To me, astonishment in Scripture, in the Old Quaker's English, it represents to be desolate as a nation. All right. All right, so let me get into some information here, right? Now, the biggest thing here, well, one of the biggest things in this particular lesson that really caught my attention, because I'm tired of this Holocaust thing, right? Let me get that information. This Holocaust thing. Give me a minute. I got so much information here. Slavery in the U.S., right? In this Americas. And it says African slaves arrived in the New World, which is talking about America. That's what it was at first. And in the book of Maccabees, in the Apocrypha, it says Asara. It is not talking about it. You're not going to see America, okay? Just like you ain't see America right here. So some people say it ain't America, but yet you can receive this information based on the New World. The New World in Scripture was called Asara, right? I may post that scripture later. Then it says the first African slaves arrived in the New World. And I'm just going to use, because we know, hopefully, that these slaves at first, they ran into Africa. Our people ran into Africa in 70 AD, running from Roman persecution. So, of course, you're going to take on that African name later on in history if you're destroyed as a people, not knowing. It is not smart to say all black people are Africans. That don't even make sense, because you got different families of Japheth, or like you have the Japheth family is Asian, Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese. Well, not Vietnamese. Some of them are Vietnamese, but you have a lot of our people in Vietnam that are the children of Israel as well. All right. Though they're from the tribe of Naphtali. Then you have let me just read this. It says African slaves arrived in the New World in the 1620s. Ask your students, and I'm just reading this because what I did was say how long was slavery. I just wanted to see what would pop up on the internet, right? And it says ask your students how long slavery did exist in North America. It was abolished. This is what they're saying in 1865. Then it says subtract 1620 from 1865. Slavery existed in North America for 245 years, right? Now, a lot of us already understand that we're still in bondage right now. And I'm going to show you, a document that proves that. But let's just for right now say that it ended. And, so that's the 245 years, right? 245 years. Let's just say it ended. Okay. Let's go into the Holocaust. Okay. How long was the Holocaust? So I just did a search and it give you the information. And it says the Holocaust, also called Ha-Shoah in the Hebrew, whatever, refers to the period from January 30th, 1933, when Adolf Hitler became Chancellor of Germany, to May 8th, 1945, when the war in Europe officially ended. So that's 12 years total. 12 years. Now this is the thing. At first it was 6 million Jewish Europeans, okay, Romans, that was killed. Then you do another search. Every year that number changed. Now it's 11 million. But they're not telling people that that was the amount of people, amount of our people that was killed. And I'm sure it's more than that, but that was on a consensus or whatever. That was able to have, they had a actual inventory, but it's more than that. You telling me that within a 12-year period, 11 million Jewish people were killed? But yet, slavery for our people was 245 years. And people want to compare the two like it's something. Are you kidding me? When you do the research on this soft research, and I'm doing it this way so you all can understand that they just put out some of the information, but when you get into certain books like Babylon and Timbuktu, when you read the two Babylons and you read, the scriptures and other history books that they take off the shelf, because Barnes and Nobles that's ran by the Jewish people ain't gonna put that information out there. It's way more than some 10 million slaves were killed. Way more than that. But what they're trying to do is compare this Holocaust thing. And there's information that it really never happened. So how do you say one thing one year? This is how you know a lie, right? They say that the Holocaust was 6 million people that died. There's no proof, or they were burnt. But yet, you put in Google right now, how many people died in the Holocaust? It's gonna say 11 million. Come on, man, really? Seriously? Then you didn't added 5 million more people. How can you do that? How can you just constantly just add? You know what they're doing? It's a smoke screen, people. It's a smoke screen. All right. Now, what I did was I was messing around with these, when the so-called Jewish people went into Palestine, Israel in 1947, right? You get a real distinguished Hebrew word, right? Hebrew number 1947. I know y'all like, what is this guy gonna say? Hebrew number 1947 is Holelah. Holelah. And it says feminine, active. Then it says of 1984, folly, madness. Folly is a joke. Results search for 1984. Holy law. Folly, madness. Okay? Then it links to, when you keep reading down it links to 1966, which is Halilal. Halilal in Hebrew is the morning star, Lucifer. So he's the one that has to lie, knowing that we're the children of Israel, knowing that we're the true Jews, scattered throughout the four corners all over the place. He had to hijack certain things so our people won't go into it, so people can believe that those people over there in Palestine are the real Jews. They know they're not the real Jews. They know that. I mean, it's so much information that's coming out in regards to that. It's not a coincidence that you look at a video and there's a Jewish person saying that that the so-called Negroes in America are the true Jews. It's something that our people are not really used to hearing. A slave is not used to hearing that he's more than what he's been taught. We're used to being the worst or the bottom. We're used to being taught that we're degenerates. So we act that which is manifested in our behavior because we see certain things. We act. You see TV. That's why people need to turn the TV off because it's not helping us. All right, it's really not. All right. Now there was a term. Let me just get into this real quick. And I'm going to show you how slavery still exists. Okay. This is the document here. You can pull this up. Thank the Most High for the person who pulled this up. I'm not sure exactly who it is, but it's called Slavery Still Exists. So it's talking about today. All right. And it says, and it could be in your backyard. And then it's another thing. It says, a community member's guide to fighting human trafficking and slavery. So that's another word that they use for slavery is trafficking. Now, let me just get into that real quick. All right. And we're going to find out where this word trafficking comes from. Remember that our people were given the land of Canaan. And we broke the law, statutes, and commandments in the land of Israel today, because that's what the original landmass was called, the land of Canaan, because that's where he resided. That's Ham. He moved Ham out. Ham moved out towards the where he still is in Morocco and all those parts of North Africa, Cairo, Egypt, and all that. He moved out over there, but that part of land of Canaan is still connected to what we call the land today, because the original name is the land of Ham, but now what we do is call it Africa. So, but the land of Canaan at first, I mean today or later on in time, is considered the land of Israel today. All right. So the reason why I'm showing you that is because when you look at this word trafficking, what people were considered being enslaved, and human trafficking was one of the things that they did to the Haitians. That's what they did to the tribe of Levi. The Haitians are the tribe of Levi. All right. Now, when you look up the word traffic, in the Hebrew, you get a few definitions. And it's going to trip you out. See, this stuff is right in our face, man. Hebrew number 3667. Canaan. Then it says Canaan, merchant, traffic, traffickers. So this should show that these people, our people, ran into the land where we was in the land of Canaan. Then imposters came in 70 AD, took us down, slaughtered us. And that's why the Most High said, when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, flee into the wilderness. In North Africa and those at the part like South Africa and West Africa. So when we flee to the Atlas Mountains, the Canaanites, or Ham himself, sold us to the Americans. That's why when you look up the word trafficking or traffic, it links to Canaan, merchant. That's what he was. Traffic. It says traffickers. That's what he did. Slavery. He sold us to the Americans. So when black people ignorantly say, well, black people sold black people. They're not telling you which black people sold black people. It wasn't just because people don't know that um, even Paul was mistaken for an Egyptian. Moses was mistaken for an African. He was able to hide in Africa because we look like some of we resemble. Because we're black don't mean that we're all from the same bloodline, because everybody was of color at one point, but there's different families. All right, then you got the other word here for traffic, miskah, traffic. And then it's merchant, which is Hebrew number 5503. Sakar, merchant, trade, right? About merchant men, traffic. So that's what they did. And I'm going to show you the scripture on how they traded this. That's nothing. Let me tell you, your birth certificate ain't nothing. That's your collateral to the bank, to the Federal Reserve. It's nothing changed. You're still in slavery. Try to leave the country and see what happened without a passport. You're in slavery. Oh, I don't want to leave anyway. Yeah, because you are used to. If you put a cup over a bug, and I gave this example before. If you put a cup over a bug long enough, if you take that cup off, he still stay in the same spot. Come on now. Of course, he got used to being in that spot. If you do this for thousands of years, yeah, we ain't gonna want to move. We think we cool here. Just like our people didn't want to leave Egypt, and they rented. Moses he rented his garment. He's like, these are stiff-necked people. We're dealing with the same people today. That's how you know who the children of Israel are. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. Very clear. We just read about trafficking. We're going to show you what it means in the scripture. Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. Oh, see, he's talking about Egypt. Egypt represents the spirituality of the word bondage, because we did hard bondage in Egypt. Our people did not want to leave Egypt. So the Most High is using, in this particular scripture, the spirit of our people today. We stuck here. We think this is everything. And the Lord shall bring thee into bondage again with ships. Ships. SS the Judah is one of the names of one of the transatlantic slave ships. SS the Judah. Then one was called Jesus. Come on now. They telling you in your face who these people are. They know that we were Hebrews. How in the world, when you come over here and anthropologists dig up stuff and found Phoenician Hebrew from the Indians. The North American Indians were writing in Phoenician Hebrew. Come on, man. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. So this particular slavery that we're under today, you will never see this type of slavery again. I speak unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. You shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. And no man shall buy you, which means no man shall save you or redeem you out of this condition. Only the Most High. Only the Most High put us in this condition. If you read, you'll understand. If we follow the laws, we'll see all the blessings. But when you read in Deuteronomy 28, at a certain point, it goes into all the curses. So we didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So here we are today. Here we are today. That's why it says, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall redeem you. So when you look at the word merchant, trade, traffic, merchandise, and this is what I want to do, and I wanted to pull this document because it didn't just happen to black people. Black History Month is the 12 tribes of Israel's month. This happened to all the 12 tribes of Israel. Especially if, of course, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. But this happened to Issachar as well. So that's an Issachar right there, one so-called Mexican today. This is what they're doing to the Mexicans, right? This is what they're doing to the tribe of Issachar. That's an Ithaca right. Can't really tell, but you would say, oh, that's a white person. Nah, you got to know the phenotypes. Let me read some of this mess. It says, it is hard to imagine that slavery still exists in America. And there's an actual, what is it, a number here? Oh, let me just read it. Still exists in America, but it does. The U.S. government estimate that 14,500 through 17,500 people are brought into the U.S. What people were brought into the U.S. before us, against our will, but we love it here. Patriotic and all that, flying the American flag and all that. Do that make sense? Some abductors take you from your house, and you over there waving their flag against your own people. Come on, man. Anyway, let me read this, man. U.S. each year to be used as slaves. Free the slaves in UC Berkeley research indicates there are tens of thousands of people living in slavery in America right now. This is real slavery. People forced to work against their will under violence or threat of violence and are paid nothing. Like the slaves of the past. And they don't really want to put it out there, the slaves of the past. They know who they're talking about. And America cannot walk away. They have lost control of their lives and they are being exploited and brutalized in terrible ways. So this is a booklet. This is great information. I don't want to read the whole thing. The video is almost an hour already. But there's a particular scripture that I want y'all to go to. And you tell me how in the world this doesn't relate to us today. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 2, verses 13 and 14. Jeremiah chapter 2, verses 13 and 14, and I'm going to close out. Jeremiah chapter 2, verses 13 and 14, and it says, for my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns, that can hold no water. Is Israel a servant? Watch this. Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? It's talking about Israel. Is the 12 tribes of Israel a homeborn slave? Yes, we are homeborn. Our foreparents broke the laws. Now, where we are born at in these other lands, we are in slavery. There's no way around that scripture. There's no way around it. But yet, guess what? People will push back on this video. The children of Israel. All right, there you have it. Hopefully you all enjoyed the Sabbath lesson. It was important. That February thing, the shortest month, they give you the shortest. I mean, they mocking you, man. I mean, come on. Let me just reiterate on certain things. You see this? It says Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. This is supposed to be one of the most important organizations of the American Civil Rights Movement. Okay, the Civil Rights Movement is a snare because it's not really teaching our people real history. They go into certain information, but not all. You can't teach a part of a book and hopefully the students understand the other part. They don't work that way. There's a connection. There's links broke. That's why when you look at the word SNCC, one of the freaking acronyms from the acronym SNCC, SNCC, it links to cut. So they cut information too. Snip, to give you just snippets of information, excerpts here and there, not giving you everything. To try to find a book that got all your history in it, it'll be under a dirt pile somewhere. So that's what they did. They made it very hard, but the Most High allowed that to happen. Because he said, let me get it real quick. And I know I was going to cut off, but certain things still popping on my head. Let's go to Psalms 83. Psalms 83. Verse 1, right? Keep not thy silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, which means they're going to make an uprise against the children of Israel. And they that hate thee have lifted up thy head. They, so that means this is plural. That means it's more than one nation that hate the children of Israel at this time, because we took down all other nations. They would come against us, we would take them down. They would try to come with their other gods and different worships, we would take them down. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up thy head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Covert, crafty, strategic, right? And consulted against thy hidden ones. So they consulted, which means they talk to, they get into consultations. And, we're hidden. This is deep. It's not saying you under a rock somewhere in a cave. It's actually saying that the understanding of your history is going to be hidden. Okay? Consulting against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. Nation, not just Judah or not just Jews in Israel. Because how can just one tribe, Jewish people, be one nation? To be a nation of Israel, you got 12 tribes. So I'm asking the people today, can they show me the other 11 tribes if they are the Jews over there? Show me the other 11 tribes of Israel. Because we're talking about a nation of people. Where are they? And if they're scattered, if they are the true Jews, right? If they're scattered, where did they scatter to? And when did they become European? All of them? Does that make sense, people? Seriously, come on, man. For they have consulted together with one consent. Matter of fact, let me go back to verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So when you look at the word SNCC, this silly student nonviolent coordinating committee, often pronounced SNCC, it's telling you cut. It's right here. We better wake up, man. Seriously, man. Seriously, we better wake up, man. This is, it's passion, but some of our people are just don't grasp that everything is against them. They think that they can just take you can just take your enemy, and you play the game. We know how to do this in the corporate world. We can act like them, you know what I'm saying? You eat perm in your head and all, trying to look this way and, wearing this stuff. And then when we come home, we act totally different. So we know how to play the game. Joseph knew what he was doing. He looked just like an Egyptian. So you can camouflage yourself to fit in. There's nothing wrong with that. But you better know who you are, though. Why are you camouflaging? See, the scripture says, Christ says, be wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove. So it's okay to fit in. You got to make your money. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying wear a mitre everywhere you go at. Be like, yeah, I'm Israel. I'm a Hebrew. Now you're going to look like a fool. Okay? You have to be prudent in your actions. So it says, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom. See, that was the families of Edom is the head. See, Edom is our brother that don't like us. So he conspired first and got the other nations involved. But the other nations didn't know that this man, he's a cunning hunter. Now right now, Edom, the European, has undercut all the other nations. That's why when you read it, Obadiah chapter 1, it says, Edom is greatly despised among the nations. And he don't reprocreate. He's the smallest among the heathens, but he's greatly despised. So look at the people in the world today. Look at America. America is the most hated country. But people work with America because they're scared. They're daunted because of America. That's why America has never been touched since. Has never been touched yet. But it will, based on scripture. I'm not trying to go off with, this is the reason why. They have taken crafty counsel. And it says, the tabernacles of Edom. All right. So there you have it. Hopefully you all enjoyed. This is something that you can't refute. This information I just went into. There you have it. Do your research on it. I'm out of here. This is my life, and I'll be doing this for the rest of it. Shalom.